Hi everyone. In this lecture we will discuss about using Oracle Golden Gate in a multi-tenant container database. In this lecture we will explain how to configure an Oracle Golden Gate replication in a multi-tenant database. Starting from Oracle 20c, Oracle database will not support non-CDB databases. For this reason, it is important to shed some light on implementing Oracle Golden Gate in a multi-tenant database. If you don't know what a multi-tenant database is, I urge you to gain this knowledge. Every Oracle DBA should be able to manage multi-tenant databases. For those who don't know multi-tenant databases, you can think of it as a database instance which has multiple application databases running inside this instance. These application databases are called pluggable databases. The instance database which hosts the pluggable databases is called CDB or root CDB or root container. CDB stands for Container Database. Let's see how Oracle Golden Gate works in Oracle multi-tenant databases. To capture from a multi-tenant database, you must use an integrated extract. Classic extract is not supported and cannot be used. The extract is configured at the root CDB level using a C## account. C## accounts are created at the root CDB level, not at the PDB level. This makes sense because only root CDB accounts can have access to the archive log files. PDBs cannot access the archive log files. At the destination side, the opposite is required. A separate replicate process is needed for each PDB. A replicate connects at the PDB level and doesn't have access to objects outside of that PDB. Based on that, if we have 10 PDBs, we can have only one extract that reads from them. But we must have 10 replicates to apply the changes on each of them. But if you want to create more than one extract, for example, one extract for each PDB, yes, you can do that. Last point before leaving this slide. Having multiple replicate processes doesn't mean we need multiple users. They can use the same C## account to replicate the data changes on their assigned PDBs. Based on our discussion in the previous slide, to configure replication from multiple source pluggable databases to multiple target pluggable databases, we have multiple options. We can configure parallel extract and replicate streams. Each stream is handling data for one pluggable database. This option provides dependency when managing Oracle Golden Gate processes. For example, we can stop an extract process for a PDB without affecting the other extracts. But this configuration involves more management overhead than the other configuration options, because you have to manage many extract processes. The second configuration option is to have one extract writing to multiple trails. Each trail is read by a single replicate. This option has less management overhead, but if we stop the extract, maybe to troubleshoot one PDB, the replication stops on all the other PDBs. Another alternative option is to configure one extract capturing from multiple source pluggable databases, which writes to one trail. The trail is read by multiple replicate groups, each applying to a different target pluggable database. This option is the easiest to manage configuration, but if any issue is raised on the trail, all the replicates will be affected. As described in the previous slide, to configure Golden Gate with pluggable databases, we must configure the extract in integrated mode. The extract connects to the root container as a common user or as a C## user. All common user names created in Oracle CDB containers start with the keywords C##. We will see soon an example of creating such a user and discuss the privileges required for it. Because common users can access the user PTPs, we can configure a single extract to capture from multiple PTPs. At the destination site, replicates connect to the database on a 1 PDP level. Therefore, we must configure a replicate for each PTP involved in the replication. Even if the trail is produced by an extract connected to multiple PTPs, a replicate can read the transactions of only its PDP. We don't have to configure the replicates in integrated mode, but it is recommended to do so. If the source PDPs are running with different character sets, Golden Gate still supports this situation. The data is saved in the trail and applied in multiple PTPs without having data with corruption due to the different character sets. The slide is demonstrating code examples on creating common users in Oracle CDB databases. First, we need to log into the root container. Then, create a user that its username starts with C##. Then, we need to grant the required privilege to the user. We must run the procedure dbms golden gate auth.grant admin privilege against the created user. The second code block is demonstrating an example of executing this procedure in a source database. Observe that the privilege type parameter is assigned the value capture. This is the value that we must assign for C## users, used for capture process groups. In addition to that, consider the container parameter passed to the procedure. We use this parameter to define which PDPs the created user can capture the replicated data from. We can assign the value all to this parameter so that the user will be able to replicate all the PDPs in the container. However, executing the procedure is not enough. Further privileges should be granted. You will see a list of them soon in this lecture. After the C## user is created, we must define it in the extract parameter file. The slide code block demonstrates an example of defining a C## user in an extract parameter file. The code assumes that a credential store is being used. This is the recommended way of defining database users in the extract parameter files, because it is more secure. As we learned in the course, with this method, we don't have to mention the user password in the parameter file. There is nothing special about defining the C## users. Add the user credential to the credential store and enter its alias in the extract parameter file. Still, if you would like to enter the username and password pair in the parameter file, you can do that as well. The extract logs on to the database using a common user. It can extract the transactions from all the configured PTPs. Now, the basic question is, how can we instruct the extract from which PDP it should capture the transactions? There are two ways to achieve this task. First, in the extract parameter file, specify the full qualified three-part names of the objects. The format of this name is the container name dot schema name dot object name. The first code block in the slide demonstrates examples to specify the table employees from the pluggable database PDB1 and a sequence named as employee ID sec from the same pluggable database. The second method is to specify the default pluggable database using the parameter source catalog. Then list the table names and the sequences that you want to replicate from the pluggable database. After that, specify the next PDB names, then add the tables that you want to replicate from that PDB. And so on. You can define multiple PDBs in a single extract parameter file. Although each replicate process connects to only one PDB, we still need to create a common user to it. I will describe soon how we tell the replicate to which PDB it should connect to. The procedure of creating C## users for replicates in destination databases is pretty much the same as creating common users in source databases. The only difference is the value we pass to the parameter privilege type. We should assign the value apply to it. This value makes the procedure grant the privileges required by the replicate processes.